what does it take to create a vibrant, thriving life? First, the sad news is that Thoreau was right. Most people are leading quiet lives of desperation, lacking in meaning, fulfillment, and vitality. But we choose more. We choose to create extraordinary lives. And the Art of Vibrant Living show entertains you with inspiration, empowerment, and education to create your life into a masterpiece. It's time. Let's vibe up. Aloha, y'all. Daniel Aaron here. I am your host, and this is the Art of Vibrant Living show. And what a show we have. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this conversation for eons, it feels like. Here's an invitation, though, for you today. Please be entertained, be informed, learn some things. That's all good and cool. It's a start, however, though, because your transformation, your potential, your greatest life also requires implementation. So make a decision that you will grab some of the gold nuggets that come your way today from Caroline and try them out, apply them in your life. Maybe listen up so you can share something with someone else. Like, I heard this amazing thing today, because when you share, you get more yourself. Now, all that said, let me tell you, because I'm so excited to tell you about Caroline Mary, because she is an Ascension Alchemist. If I don't, best you ask her what that means. She facilitates people to shine their light so they can share their gifts with the world. She's passionate about healing herself and others at a soul level so we can co-create the new earth together. So cool. I am delighted that you are with us. Thank you for being here with us, Caroline.
Oh, thank you for having me, Daniel. It's absolutely beautiful to be with you today. Thank you.
Right on. All right, well, let's just dive right in, because I teased it already. Ascension Alchemist, right? I love both those words. I love alliteration. Wait, is it alliteration when it's a vowel? I don't know, but I love it when you got the words like that. You know what I mean? So, but when you put them together, what does that mean? Where does that come from?
Well, what's amazing is I'm looking at the stars behind you and I'm thinking it's the alchemy of us bringing our stardust out into the world, right? It's turning to the mud into the gold. It's the transformation of us living in our human form, but bringing through our soul self. Yeah. And as you were asking the question, I was thinking to myself, really remembering that we're all Ascension Alignment Alchemists. We're all Ascension Alchemists. We all give each other moments of healing. And that is all I seek to do. Okay, so we all do it. I just happened to coin the term. Well, Spirit gave me the term. And that's what I'm bringing forward for you. So.
Okay, cool. Well, I love that. And part of what I hear in that is that you're here to heal. You're here to heal yourself and others. You've received some guidance with that. What was the moment for you where you knew that you were an Ascension Alchemist, right? And was there a moment in that process where you said, I don't know, but where you said something like, can I say that out loud? Is that okay? Right? Did anything like that occur for you?
Absolutely. I would say the path I've walked is one of intense moments of faith and, of course, moments of doubt. Absolutely. So the first moment I really felt I had something to offer, it was as a child. I had a vision in the playground and it was like the clouds parted, the light came down, and I was like, shit, God really exists. Like, this is real. This moment, it was like time stood still. And I was like, I've got to live with purpose. Like, I am here to do something. I can't just sit on my laurels, look at the earth. We're in a bit of crisis in some places. And I just wanted to change it all. I could see the different systems in the world. And I was like, oh man, how are we ever going to do this? We've got to bring healing in this, and we've got to bring change here. And over the years, of course, I realized it's not all for me to do. I don't have to do it. There are people working in all the ways. But exactly. And it was a really big pressure as a child. How do you interpret these visions? But I could feel the power that moved through me. I was a musician as a child,
Huh.
and I just could feel the power of music then. How it would feel for me to be channeling this music, playing this music, and I knew I had. I could feel the power of God like running through me, and I feel like we all have that. I just had a moment where I felt it, and it was like, I have to share this. I have to be a conduit for love and kindness in any way I can. And it's a big mantle to carry, and it's taken years to work through into how that really is for me as a different way of what you do in the world or somebody else does in the world, right? And that's where a lot of doubts has come through. And my work as a life coach has been invaluable to help me coach myself through those moments, right? So yeah, totally have had moments of like, no, I can't do this, and yet we keep taking the steps, don't we?
Yeah, beautifully said. Well, and you pointed to there's a certain amount of our audience that are coaches or moving into coaching. And I feel like it's one of the most lucky accidents of my life, in a sense, that I ended up as a teacher and a coach. And I was actually a musician as a kid, and I thought I was going to be a symphony musician as my career. And I realized I don't have the discipline to practice. I wouldn't cut it on the highest levels. And somehow
Yeah,
that led to me learning about this thing called philosophy and self-understanding and healing and growth and personal and spiritual development. And what you pointed to though is the greatest gift of that is it 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 encourages, maybe forces us to learn and grow. And so when obstacles and issues and challenges and doubts and fears, when those things come up, like what most people do, what we're trained to do is say, no, I'm just going to avoid that. I don't want to feel that. But what we
absolutely.
have to do, and this is what you pointed to, which is brilliant, is we're saying, I can't ask anybody else to become aware if I'm not willing to look at it. So it
Yeah,
keeps us on the growth edge. Does that make sense
yeah.
from your experience?
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, every person I've worked with brings a mirror, something I've worked on,
Mm,
and I can
mm,
give them a bit of something. Or I'm like, oh wow, Jesus, they're bringing this to my plate, and we're going to look at it together, and I can see the parallels, and I just really honor all the people that I work with to keep reminding me, and yourself, you're running a show, there's tech issues or there's this, you're constantly having to step up in this day and age. We're being asked, the more we explode, I want to say, I'm looking at your picture again, we're expanding like the cosmos.
mm,
We are all expanding into a greater capacity, really, to know ourselves as the infinite being. That's, to me, like the ultimate, right? Knowing that we are part of Creator, knowing that we have this creative seed within us, and we're just hitting the growth edge, every time. Like me coming on this show, it's like, okay, this is a new thing. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn to level up, to be ready? And that is, to me, what helps us grow. That's where the creation is, that's where the vibrancy is in life.
mm,
So having tools to overcome the challenges is where the gold is.
mm. Nice, nicely said. Well, so let's go back to when you were a little girl and you had that moment and the clouds parted. Like that sounds like it was huge and profound
Yeah.
and and like how old were you? What was going on? Did other people notice? Give us more detail, would you?
So I was, as far as I know, I didn't tell anyone. It was one of those moments you think, did that even really happen? But
Mm,
I knew it did, but it was like, how do you even start saying to somebody, like we went to Sunday school for a little while. And I asked my mum a few years back, and she was like, did you? And I'm like, yeah, we did, because I remember reading about Jesus. And so I kind of really held Jesus as my shining light, my guru, right? I was just like, if I want to do anything in the world, I just want to be like Jesus. Like, he's the dude. He just loves everyone. He brings all this light. He is the teacher that we all need to follow. And I didn't go to church, right? Because I always had other ideas. Some part of me was like, I knew, okay, I didn't know the words for this, but basically I had claircognizance from a young age. So I just
mm,
knew I can't go to a church because there's going to be something in it that's not quite enough, or not quite, it's not immediate, it's not as direct offering. But that planted the seed in me of like, I want to be that love. I want to be like him. So where can I show up like that? Can I love everybody? Can I be the one that forgives? Can I look for the compassion? Can I look behind the story, behind the drama, to like the trauma that somebody's in? I didn't have words necessarily for a lot of that, but that's how I saw the world. So if people would say, oh, this thing, la la la, I had the feeling inside of like, yeah, well, I can see why, because this happened to them and they're doing this and da, da. So it really impacted me. And I can't remember whether I had these feelings before or after, but I always had this sense of being from other lives. I didn't really like being in this era. I didn't really like the noise and the mess. I didn't really like being white, honestly. I felt really conflicted being in a female body. So I had a lot of gender fluidity going on, but I also had the knowing that I think this is more a soul thing rather than I need to go and have this, the refinement. But that's fine if that's what you feel to do. But for me, it felt like I'm a soul and I'm in this body and I'm in this time. And it just gave me a framework for everything. So if there's a challenge, it's stepping back into, well, I wonder why. Like, why is this happening to me? Is this karma? And again, I don't know whether I knew the word of karma, but I just knew the feeling of, there's a reason this is happening. Like, if I get shit, this is because it's coming back to me, or you know what I mean? And it really was this, I need to be the best version that I could be, and I would show up in that way in as much of life as I could. But then I kind of buried it, right? You asked, did that just give me faith? But I really lost faith because I wanted to join in, and it wasn't cool to be that, and it's, don't be like Christian, that's not cool, and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of buried it all, and I started taking drugs, and I was really unhappy, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with my life. And it was only a few years after, in my 30s, where I really started praying and went on vision quests, and things would happen, and suddenly I was like, oh yeah, this is all making sense now. And I would start getting the downloads of, okay, this is the next step, this is a book to write, this is something to be part of. And then I would really start getting like actually my work in the world, rather than just going around and spreading love as wherever I could, basically. So yeah, it had a really profound effect. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, and part of what I heard in that is, well, actually, let me ask you, I don't know if this is true. It sounds to me like there was some pressure, and also a pressure in terms of what you felt like you needed to do, but there was some kind of impulse or pull that kept you moving forward through the doubts and the fears. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so definitely a pressure. And I literally have only just flipped that and realized how it was still playing out in a book that I've recently written in, realizing that because I was interpreting this vision as a child, it was like the simplicity of, oh, right, I've just got to save the whole world. I don't know these other people that are doing this. Like, oh my God, I've got this vision, and I've just got to, and now I know, like, a lot of us are holding the vision for the new earth. That's why you're doing the show. We all have our part to play. But at that time, I didn't know anyone talking about this, and I was like, oh God, this is a lot. Where do I start? I knew I had capacity. I was articulate, I was a good student, blah, blah, blah. But it was just like looking at the world going, I have no idea. There's no personal wish. I didn't like, I want this, I want this. I was just like, and I used to just pray, God, use me. Like, I don't know what to do. Just use me. That was my prayer. And then it kind of started shifting into kind of more defined intuition. And then I started really just being able to follow the nudge and going, okay, I've got to go here, do this. Okay, I'm going to do this. And then it became, rather than, I've got to do everything, it's like, no, just do my part. And everyone else is doing their part. And if you help people, they will do their part, and it ripples out. And we all, like you doing this show, this ripples out to everybody else, and that ripples out to everybody else. And that's how the light travels, and the ascension keeps going. So yeah, thank goodness I discovered that.
Well, and yeah, thank goodness for you, for us, for the world. And I'm curious though, do you ever still experience anything like that, pressure or doubts or fears? I don't know, but I imagine, like, even just the title, Ascension Alchemist, I can imagine some people with different belief systems, put it that way, might be like, what is this Ascension Alchemist? That's not a CEO, that's not a stenographer. These things I know about, that I don't know about. Do you ever get any insecurity or concern about fitting in now?
In a way, no, because how I live my life right now, I just don't seem to come up against that many edges. And I really believe that a lot of our external life will mirror elements of ourselves. So when I've been in doubt, when I've been in like, then you're going to be bringing that into your field. And when we shift that shadow for ourselves, we no longer need that in the outside world coming back. So I'm a really big believer. It's a massive principle how I work with my clients. It's like, okay, what is happening inside you? When we shift that, and that's where the alchemy comes in, when we can transmute that, own the fear, whatever it is, that shadow, the feeling, actually, we're just not going to see the resistance on the outside. And we can see those people that have doubted us as a real gift to show us back, okay, maybe I do have a moment of doubt. So when I see those words, what I was actually getting then is they are like a spell anyway, because if somebody is that repulsed, they will just not even come to me. They'll just they won't even, and I watch it at wellbeing fairs. People go to where they're vibrationally drawn to, and it's not necessarily conscious, and then the right people will come to me and be like, I knew I had to come, I need to talk to you. It's just, I don't know why, I don't know what I need to do. What do you do? And I'm like, sit down and we'll do a session, because you'll get all the stuff. I'll just get whatever I'm guided to give you, whatever transpires. So but yeah, heck yeah, I have doubts come up, because as we take new steps, certainly in this time, I mean, Daniel, you must know, you're a little bit older than me. You must have seen so many changes in your life. Prior to me, some of your generation are kind of planting the seeds, and I'm planting the seeds for the generations that come. We are having to reprogram our neural pathways constantly. Our DNA is getting updated. So when we hit our own edge, that's when we do the work and go, okay, what's the feeling? We're letting it go. That's the alchemy. So yes, I have them, but I have loads of tools where, and even if it's just a prayer, like, help me out here. What is it I need to know? Soften it, shift it, and transmute it. So it happens, but the turnaround is a lot quicker. Whereas years ago, it would have been, oh God, and something would really affect me for like months and months and months and months, because I didn't have tools. I just had this like innate faith, but I didn't know how to make the prayer to shift the doubt or anything. But now I'm very blessed to have those tools. So yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And I think part of what you point to there too is a truism that's useful for people to know, which is if we receive inspiration or awakening, see the world anew, or healing, that doesn't mean it's always going to be smooth sailing from there, right? In some ways, I know for me, every time I have some new level of awakening or freedom or enlightenment, then that's just life getting me ready for bigger challenges. And challenges are part of the path and part of how we grow. And I wonder what happened, because you look kind of frozen. Huh. Fascinating. 2, 1. So, yeah, does that make sense to you, Caroline, about, that it's foolish of us to think, oh, it's all going to be smooth sailing from now. In fact, we're here to grow and learn. And sometimes we're going to encounter situations where we feel like, oh no, I'm triggered again.
Oh God, honestly, Daniel, it made me laugh when you were saying that so much, because I had this awakening as a child, and I had the naivety of just, I'm going to be as loving as I can and do good in school and honor people. And then I had another really profound awakening when I was in uni. And again, it was like time stopped still. And I was like, oh God, it's that feeling again. I've got God is here. Oh God, I'm being reminded. And I literally sailed on this cloud of like, I've got to tell people about this. It's like the news, right? You hear it, right? I've got to tell people the news. I've got to help people. I've got to just tell everyone how much love there is in the world, and da-da-da-da-da. And it obviously, I skidded to a hole, and I nearly got locked up because people were just like, what the hell is she going on about? I left university, which, by the way, I was studying maths and philosophy. So the philosophy had just opened my mind to another level and made me realize, yeah, my mind is like the philosopher's mind. I'm always questioning, always like processing, like what's going on and looking deeper. And I'm laughing because I have just submitted my manuscript for my first solo book, Who Called You Crazy? You're Having a Spiritual Awakening. And in one of the chapters, my intro is really saying, look, don't do what I did. If you had a spiritual awakening, great. But now remember, you've got to integrate. And that's not what I did. I just was like, yeah, I'm like a guru. I'm going to just save everyone. And I feel like the last 20 years, I've just come down and down and down and down. And it's great, you know, it's fine. I understand that now. And hopefully other people can learn from that, that error. And the last few years, I've really dipped in and out of A Course in Miracles, and it really helps me like really not see the challenges as failings, but flip them into my personal curriculum. Okay. So if I think I've got this big vision, and I do have quite a big vision of what I'd like to do in the world, along with a lot of fears, because you think, is that really me? Is that really my intuition? Where's that coming from? And actually, does it matter the outcome? No. As long as I'm learning, turning up authentically, you know, being as honest and real as I can be, then the outcome, it doesn't matter whether I'm talking to 1,000 people or you or whoever I'm working with. I still have the prayer of being of service and being a point of love on the earth. And but it's, yeah, basically I've just been humbled again and again and again and again to realize, you know, yes, I had that awakening, and now I can carry on with my life and chop wood again, you know, that whole thing. So
Yeah, nicely said. I love that. Yeah, and I'm always I'm observant. Like I had enough experiences in the early part of my life. First, you know, revelations, awakenings, healings, where I thought, oh, everything is different now, and everything is different now, and now, and now,
yeah,
and there's always more. Like I don't like the word enlightenment anymore, because to me it implies, well, it was dark and now it's light. You know, before
sure.
and after, and now I'm done. So anytime I hear someone say like, oh, you know, I just experienced my awakening, or the final layer is cleared, or any of that, I think, ooh, watch out, because more is coming, right?
Yeah,
And you know, we're here to be in between our greatest desires and excitement and our greatest fears. It's like where those two intersect that is the edge of our growth and our contribution in the world. So,
sure.
yeah, thank you for that. Um, what's it look like for you now in your work with people? How do you help people?
So one of my greatest loves is coaching, and I was lucky enough to train with actually a US coach, Christian Michelson, who really works on the inner game. It's not all strategy. It's not kind of let's get your SWOT chart out. It's very much about what are you feeling, what your beliefs are, what's happening. And so, yes, I understand you want this, but actually, let's backtrack and go, okay, what are you feeling in your body? What's happening for you so that you can actually meet your truth? Or okay, we might not say it's the highest truth, but like what's the version of you now? What are you afraid of? And that's where I really love the alchemy, because so many people are, and myself included, for years I was so ashamed of having a fear. It's like, no, you're a great student, you want to do great stuff. And I did feel a pressure, I was a great student and great, like yourself, a great musician. Oh, you're going to do great things. And suddenly I skidded to a hole and had this awakening and was like, I just want to shed all my belongings and live in an ashram. I don't want to do that, but I still need to exist in the world. So because I've been through loads of those processes, I feel like I create a very safe space for people to just cathartic, do that process of atonement where it's like, okay, I don't care what you're scared of. I still love you. So let's love that part of you together and bring her the healing or him the healing, bring yourself back into center, but not by just trying to get to the end, but be here now. And that's, it's one of my favorite offerings, really, because it's not a lot of people feel they can't do that with, they're putting on their face, they've got to be the mom or the dad or the worker or who they've told their friends to be, and now I've got this little voice going la, 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 and I'm too scared, and I was like, no, that's the one that's going to bring the healing, like she's your one you want. So that's I think it's such important work and just to be really gentle with those parts of us, because they're the ones that need the love.
Yeah, beautiful. Nicely said. My experience, the more I grow and learn, the more I'm willing to be afraid and doubtful and admit when I'm harsh on myself. And it's a relief. Not only is it a relief for me, because I can relate to, I got to get it all right and, show up as the guy who knows everything. Not only is it a relief for me to not have that kind of pressure, it also, when we're in that kind of transparency and ease with ourselves, it gives that encouragement to the others. Like, hey, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to have doubts. That's part of being human, or being part human. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Caroline, I believe you kindly brought a gift for our audience. Is that true?
Indeed, yeah. So you can log on to my website and you can book yourself an hour with me for free. Wow. And have an Ascension alignment coaching session. And we will work with your guides through me. We'll be in a safe space. We'll look at what it is you're working on in your life. And we'll do some work. We'll do some energy work. We'll bring some healing in and really do exactly the process that we just said to bring that change and that alchemy into your life. And what happens is often, even though I don't necessarily ask you, okay, what are you going to do next? You will just feel, oh yeah, right, I'm just going to take this. It's just going to feel really easy to take the next step. Whereas you might have had a block somewhere or something, judging yourself or somebody or the other. So yeah, I'm so excited to work with people, and then we can see if you want to join a longer coaching program. If you like how we work together, then we can talk about that. But there's absolutely no pressure. I just absolutely love to do this work. So get in touch and let's meet up.
Okay, cool. And then, so what's the best way for people to contact you? You said your website is openlotusliving.com, right?
It is indeed, and there is a whole page just for your guests. So the next bit is /the-art so there's the art of vibrant living, but with a dash in between the words.
Okay, yeah? and we can include that link. I'll just say it again though, in case somebody's listening, not watching. And so it's the website is Open Lotus Living, just like you would think you spell it, .com/the art of vibrant living, and there's a dash in between each of those words, the art of vibrant living. So openlotusliving.com /the-art-of-vibrant-living. Oh my gosh, I said the whole thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and beautiful. What a generous gift for you to offer to connect. And and I know just in the short time that we've been able to connect here, I felt a great upliftment and a greater sense of peace just in being with you. So I can only imagine in a session where it's really dedicated in your service to someone, the power of that. So what a beautiful gift. Thank you.
Such a pleasure. It's absolutely a pleasure. And I want to say, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh God, I couldn't do that, you really could. If you have even the tiniest moment of thinking, oh God, I'd love that, absolutely do it. Because I tell you what, I have had so many gifts from people helping me along my way, and the reason why I'm happy to give these sessions is because if it's the one thing that you do in this year that it might just shift that one key thing for you, just do it. If you can't find a session, because you'll be taken through to the calendar link, if you can't find a session or it's glitching or something, use the contact form, get hold of me, reach out. If my work is speaking to you, it won't speak to everyone, and I know that, and you're a coach yourself. To me, there are a lot of coaches on the earth right now, and essentially a lot of us are actually soul guides. Okay, we've come in, and I'm not perfect by any means. Anyone who wants to know me, I'm a hot mess sometimes, but I know that my oversoul, let's say it like that, is here to work with certain people. So if you're feeling that call to me, reach out then, because there'll be a connection. And if not, that's also okay, because somebody else is for you. And I trust that. I really trust that the right people meet. So, as I said, if you're feeling it at all, just do it. All right.
I love it. That's great. Thank you. Okay. Well, I think time is flying along for us. So I think that brings us up to the final question, the big question, the impossible question. And I say big and impossible in addition to my affinity for drama, to say that you've got so much experience and knowledge, right? And you're tapped into some very profound wisdom. If, however, you had to bring it down, distill it, and there was just one thing you could say to our audience, one thing that would help them to live their most vibrant, thriving life, what's that one thing?
I want to say tune in and pray. Because that has helped me in so many situations. Tuning into our own wisdom, but then prayer for the bigger wisdom that wants to come through us as well. Because anything you think you want to do that might feel like a mountain, if you call in that God, energy, spirit, your team, your true higher self, mountains will move, I guarantee it. And so many times when I've been up against something and I'm like, oh, even the tools and the different EFT and the journey, it's not happening. I make my prayer and it literally shifts the thing. Yeah. So really, because as well, I'm not sure if people know that. I'm sure you do, Daniel, but really to really take on board that our spirit teams cannot work with us unless we invite them in. They will not overstep free will. Humans will just get in there and la la la. Our guys won't do that. Okay, they have to be. They're always there. They're always giving signs. I really believe it. But if you really want that help and really clear help, you want something specific, you have to ask, otherwise they won't come in. Okay. And that is one of the things that every time I'm doing a talk or a session with somebody, it comes in again and again, pray, because that's letting them help you. All right.
I love that. Tune in and pray, have the wisdom and courage to ask for help. Such a great reminder, because it's easy for us to forget that. So beautiful. Thank you so much, and thank you for investing this time with us to be on the show.
Oh, it's been absolutely such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. And for y'all, our guests, thank you for being here. Thank you for being interested in the art of vibrant living, interested enough that you invested this time that you're learning. Remember, share with someone. Tell them what you learned. Tell them something that stretched you today. Apply something. Put it into place in your life. I hope you will come back and be with us again soon. I love you. See you later. Aloha. Mahalo for tuning in to the Art of Vibrant Living show, y'all. I'm Daniel Aaron, and may you live with great vibrancy.